Now if you've played the Final Fantasy VII Remake, then you'll know that Midgar is a magnificently designed city when it comes to world building. It already had a really unique design from the original game, with its under and upper city levels and the social structure working the way that it does. But they managed to make it even better by fleshing it out a bit more in this remake. Now I've already mentioned a bit about the background characters in my video on the Shinra troops, which I'll link in a card or in the description of this video, and I'll do more videos on the impressive character elements in another video. But coming back to the city, I just wanted to use this video to talk about its secret origins, that's Midgar's secret origins, that seem to be hidden quite well within the game, and how this indirect way of telling us something that adds to a greater lore can really make us appreciate the game more. But also, it's a brilliant lesson for those of us creators seeking to create our own stories and build our own worlds. You see, prior to the game's release, whenever I read the origins of Midgar, it tended to describe Midgar as a group of villagers whose names had long been forgotten, which then merged together into the megacity we know and love, and this happened when Shinra moved in and started making their reactors. But this time it looks like Midgar didn't have villages there before. It was chosen for its past more than anything. And there is mention of how Wall Market was an entertainment centre created when workers were brought in from outside, and there's other insinuations to that as well. Now this is where I'm going to start mentioning a few more spoilers, so if you haven't played the game yet, then I'll leave it to you to decide whether you're going to continue watching this video or not. Now in chapter 16, when we're sneaking around the Shinra building inconspicuously, we happen upon the visual entertainment center, and a holographic scene plays out, and it plays out this cinematic that explains more of the history and also Shinra's goals for the future. It talks about the ancients, or Cetra, who they are and how they disappeared, and how Shinra want to create a Neo Midgar in their promised land. But I noticed something very interesting when watching this scene through the second time. You may remember the scene where it shows an arrangement of rocks, and within one of those rocks someone is crafting Mako into materia. Now stop and have a look at the structure. Does it look familiar? Well, of course it does. It's literally the shape of Midgar, with its 8 reactors around the circumference and its main reactor and Shinra building in the centre. But that's not all. Afterwards we get this scene where this ancient settlement is brought to ruin. Now look at the structure of those rocks, and then watch the next scene. The same rock structure, but look what happens next. That's right, Shinra build Midgar right on top of it. Now this might seem like a minor piece of information, but in my opinion, it's a genius bit of lore and world building. This would mean that Midgar itself wasn't built randomly. If this was a major nexus of the livestream and for the ancients to create materia, or at least some special location for them to connect with the planet, and I say that because I know there's currently some dispute about how exactly the livestream or Mako was used or not used by the ancients, then it makes sense that this would be the perfect location for Mako to be drawn out of the earth. And quite interestingly, this seems to be considered an optimal design for a Mako sustained civilization to operate by, since Neo Midgar has an almost identical layout. Or it could just be that it's a perfect panopticon layout and stresses the authoritarian rule of Shinra, watching over everything from his large tower. Now there's also the alternative to this theory, which is of course that the entire cinematic is just a pile of nonsense and that Shinra just created it with that imagery to show that Shinra in effect are doing the planet's work and showing that they're the good guys, continuing on the ancients' good work from the past. But that could also support the theory too, especially when we think of the fact that Shinra is so taken by the ancient scriptures and planetology, which seems to sort of be the religion of the day. And he's so taken by it that I think it's fair to say that going out of his way to find an ancient old settlement ruin would be within his character. So what's your opinion on the cinematic? Do you think that it's a secret insight into Midgar's history? Or purely Shinra propaganda that should be taken with a pinch of salt? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more great videos like this. And why not also click that like button if this video got you thinking. What I like about this entire cinematic is that it's a really good example of storytelling. With visual storytellers like artists, being able to show and imply rather than straight up telling is very often the better storytelling method. And Final Fantasy over the years has been guilty of both succeeding and failing in this regard. You see, it might appear random for an art channel like me to pay such close attention to a game, but when a game has had such a huge cultural effect, and part of that is due to amazing world building, character design and storytelling, then it's something for us artists and creators to pay attention to. If you're interested in some of the great character designs in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and also some of the story theories to go along with them, then why not check out these two videos here. Now that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.